Well, that summarizes the weekend.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Hello, everybody. My name's Tim Daniel, and his name's Ben Brown. And welcome to Late Night Reds.
Hey, it's just like we talked about. At some point, we knew a night like this was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We knew. I mean, and this isn't a slight on our Reds, but it's professional sports. We know nights like these happen. Weekends like this happen. So
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Here, so we so here we go.
Yeah, man. Well, first things first, want to make sure we give of course, our huge shout out to our wonderful friends at patreon.com/RiverFrontCincy who make all of this possible. So please be sure to hang out with us there. If you have a couple bucks that you can spare, that's awesome. And come spend some time with us there. We definitely appreciate it. Also, before we get into, we're going to talk about happy things before we get to the weekend. Don't forget, if you don't have it on your calendar yet, July 6th, it's a Saturday before the Tigers are in town. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at Smoke Justice in Covington, Kentucky. I know my guy Branch Brown loves some delicious smoked meats. This is the spot for him. The wings, the brisket, you name it, they do it right.
Yes,
and we're going to be there, Riverfront, live before the Reds-Tigers game. Hopefully, guys are back and healthy by then, and we're talking about a lot more fun than we're having right now. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you can make it out to come hang out with us, we would love to see you there. But yeah, we'll also be recording the show live, and we'll be doing our thing. So let's go ahead, I guess. And the weekend recap, guys, as you saw by the title, need hats for bats. We need Jobu.
Yes.
So, normally I do the recaps and I'll highlight players' performances. This week was just Hunter Green almost made 6 innings on Friday after a really long rain delay. Very impressed by that, by the way. I want to talk about that particularly.
Yeah.
Saturday, 2-1 loss. Was not a fun game, but hey, starting pitching, really solid once again. Today, we all needed a drink, right? 11-1. They don't score that 1 run till the 9th inning. I don't think Nick Lodolo is necessarily bad. I think Baltimore's great.
Yes.
They're probably the best team in the American League. And whatever that means anymore, as we've said in the last couple of weeks, interleague play is not a thing. And so that lineup's unbelievable, 1 through 9. I don't know if I would have pulled him at 85 pitches, to be honest with you. I might throw him out another inning. And that's not because I had the over on strikeouts today. I promise. Right. I'm just saying that. But buddy, this is like bleeding over from the Padres series into this series. And the Padres series wasn't necessarily bad. I think, they lost 2 of the 3, I know, but and Fernando Cruz was due to have a bad outing. But just kind of, they've now lost 5 in a row. They've scored a total of 5 runs in that time span. Going into after Friday, it's obviously stopped now because they scored a run yesterday and a run today. Did you know after Friday, they had been shut out 3 of their last 5 games at home?
Oh, my gosh.
So thankfully they scored a run and a run, but,
they
were both in the 9th inning. So they were, dude. To quote Molly Hatchet, they were flirting with disaster.
They were flirting.
But
yes, they were.
It's just kind of, like you said, it's baseball, right? These things happen.
Yeah.
And I could live with these things happening if the team really made a ton of effort to really go after their weaknesses in the offseason. And it's not to say I don't blame them for the Jeimer Candelarios and Nick Martinez's, any of those guys. That was great. You were trying to make the team better. And it just hasn't panned out just yet. We knew they needed a right-handed outfielder. We knew we needed a top of the line starting pitcher. All these things, that we're sitting at this situation now where guys like Stuart Fairchild and Nick Martini are getting way too many at bats for a big league team. And Ben and I are normally not anti front office people. We kind of just go with the flow. We're happy go lucky people. We have fun, but Nick Krall and crew, their plan's not looking too hot right now, and I understand. All right, I'm probably just going off right now and not even letting you speak.
No, hey, listen, no, you're listen, you're rolling. You're rolling.
So
I'm listening. We're good.
I just have like a lot of irritations about this. All right, the first thing.
Hey, listen, you never stop a heater. Let's go. You're in it. Let's go.
Let's go back to Texas last week, right?
Yep.
They played shorthanded 3 games in a row going into San Diego. And I understand you want to hold out just to see like maybe they'll play Saturday. Maybe we'll have them available Sunday. Didn't happen. The week before that, they did the same thing. India, Fraley, sick. Mm-hmm. Should we call guys up so we have 26 guys? Nope, not going to do that. Okay, we're going to just keep rolling with what we got. Maybe they'll be available, but they weren't in the clubhouse today. That seems like a smart idea and a smart game plan. I just don't understand this whole thing where they're just like, yeah, we'll play shorthanded. And like, they can't be that worried about minor league options at this point. If you're trying to be competitive, if you're trying to win. And then the Mike Ford thing, I know it's gotten way out of proportion. Like, no, I didn't think Mike Ford was the answer, but worst case scenario, he is just as bad as Nick Martini, right? That's all there was to me. That's all I'm going to say about it. And then CES, who just like looks lost, doesn't look competitive at times. I know he had like a bloop single this weekend. That was cool, I guess. And but just kind of, I mean, like for this team right now, where it's like your game plan of moving on from the Nick Senzels and the Joey Vottos was like, these guys are ready. Mm-hmm. He's not looked ready. Mm-mm. Like Spencer Steer, I know is in a slump right now. He's looked ready most of the time.
Yeah.
Like I have no issues with Spencer Steer's a slump. I believe fully that he's going to smash the large pizza and he's going to get out of it at some point. But dude, I just feel like this is something where, and I hate being like, this is all the front office fault guy. I never like to be that guy, but at some point you got to look at what you're given here and just kind of be like, all right, we've played shorthanded way too much this year already. Yeah. And we already knew we were down guys, and we're playing guys we know have just proven over and over and over and over and over again. They're not they're not major league players. They're 4A players at best. And it's just kind of getting to the point where, and I'm sorry for those who are listening to this right now, who love listening to us because we have fun. And I plan to make this a fun show. I promise. It's just that right now, with how things are going, this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the expectations, right? I mean, we expect it to be better. Now, I'm not saying that Baltimore is not a good team. We all know that is the best team, probably top 3 teams in baseball. We are not saying that.
Absolutely.
However, what my questions are, why do we continue to play shorthanded? When are we going to switch things up? What's the option here with David Bell? What are we doing here? And somebody else brought up a really good point, and we had this conversation this weekend. And I can remember, and like I said, this isn't going to be a bash session. I'm not trying to bash anything, but Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
They go 8-8 or 9-8, or they have a stretch where they lose 3 games in a row. I mean, everybody's just ready to cut his head off. He's terrible. He can't coach. He's this, he's that. Why does David Bell get a pass? And I'm not saying that the Reds should be where they're not, or whether, but like, I feel like everybody accepts his everyday normal, well, we just got to be better. Well, we got to do this. Well, no crap, David Bell. Like, we know that. These are things we know. We got to be better. Now, granted, I will never be a guy that says that a manager can control who's going to hit the baseball, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. Those guys are professional athletes. I get it. However, there have got to be some things where you step in and say, okay, let's move this guy around. Let's move this guy in. Let's bring some guys up. Let's do this. Let's try some different things because we know we're shorthanded already. We know we don't have Friedel. We know we ain't getting Matt McClain back anytime soon. We know these different things. Why are we not trying to switch a little bit of things up, switch the mojo up a little bit, do something? And I can't even blame the pitching. Like, for the most part, the pitching has been decent. We've gotten really good starts, and our bullpen, for the most part, has held together a lot. When you can't score no runs, if you ain't scoring no runs, you ain't going to beat nobody. Right. So at some point we've got to make a change. I know that we were texting back and forth about CES, Candelario. Now Candelario started to come out a little bit, but even still, like he was our big acquisition. We moved guys out that we had here that we knew could do things, and he's supposed to be the guy to fill these spots.
At worst,
he
the same
doing
thing.
It. Or at least the same thing. CES is supposed to be ready. When we said, oh, he's going to have a slow start, but at some point, like watching his at bats this weekend, like, dude, he just like he looks uncomfortable. He looks like he's like everybody's overmatched to him. Oh, yeah. He's just overmatched. Why are you overmatched against everybody? You can't be a professional baseball player and be overmatched against everybody. Can't happen.
I agree.
There's definitely some questions. And like I said, I don't want to make this. I mean, they're 16 and 17 or
16
whatever.
And 18 now, yeah.
16 and 18. They're only 2 games under. I'm not going to sit here and just say, crash the ship, do whatever. We're not going to do all that. But like, I just feel like there's some passes being given that shouldn't be given, and at some point you got to start to question it a little bit. And it's 162 games. I get it, but at some point you got to look at some things and say, okay, what are we going to do to make this situation better?
Right. Yeah. And Cindy brings up the point. He doesn't control call-ups, and that's right. She's absolutely right.
Agreed.
But like, you think that if you think that Nick Kral's not like, hey man, do you think you could we're gonna bring this guy up? Like, do you think this is a good idea? That says far more about the front office than it says the manager. And that's something that really needs to be, that communication needs to get better. And Bob brings it up. And look, we've said it a million times. And look, I'm going to say it too. The team needs a leader, and Joey Votto was imperfect for this role. Remember when people said we can't bring him back because he might screw up the vibe? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. And I think we were proponents of...
Speak on it. Speak on it, Tim Daniel. Speak on it. Do not hold your tongue. Speak on it.
What did I say a million times when it came to the option? I said that every team needs a veteran leader they can be like, when someone's slumping, someone who can pull them aside, pull the iPad out, look at bats, give them tips and advice. Just someone who, when things aren't going your way, they are there. And I wasn't saying that he was going to come out and hit 30 home runs, break the franchise home run record. I would have loved for him to do it, but I definitely agree, Bob. I 1,000% agree. And I understand you did not want to pick up the option, but for what he signed in Toronto, you couldn't have made that deal. Like, that's silly. It's disrespectful, and also looks really bad right now. And hey, I understand what his 4 or 5 years were in the big league team in Cincinnati, Ohio. Look at our third baseman's numbers right now. Look at Nicholas Peterson-Zell's third numbers right now at third base for the Washington Nationals. Okay, like, tell me something here. And look, there's been people who's like, I understand that relationship was flawed. That relationship had a lot of issues, but which guy would you rather have right now? I'm probably just bitching right now.
But listen, this is what we do. This is why we have a podcast, right? Like, this is what we do. These are the things that we do. We talk about these things. There's things that we want to get off our chest, and there's things that we want to discuss, and that's one of them. Like, there's got to be a reason why we can't right the ship. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a reason why.
And like, to bring up the David Bell point, no, I don't think he's 100% at fault here. And I do appreciate that he has tried different things with the lineup. I do. But also there are times when he's like, I know we're shorthanded, but can we have Stuart Fairchild bat third today in a Major League Baseball game? And that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it.
That's not that's not what the Rock is cooking. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, for sure. And like, I love Luke Maley, the backup defensive catcher. I think he is exceptional at his job. Should not be pinch hitting for people. And granted, that says a lot about your bench too, right? Like, when you have like no bench bats. And I understand that 2012 is not going to happen again, but that team, like, look, they had dudes they could call in off the bench when they needed it. The Xavier Pauls, the Chris Heises, the Deontay Navarros, like those guys. And like, you just haven't seen that in Cincinnati since. And I think that's why things that really kind of sucks about this, especially because so many guys are not doing what we expect them to do. And we talked about this as a thing in the offseason too, Ben, where Like we all had these high expectations. We all were like, all these young
Mhm.
guys who are growing up together are going to be so good. And I'm not
Mhm.
quitting on the team. I still
No,
believe
no,
this team
no.
has
Mm-mm.
a lot of opportunity. Like we said, you get through May and you're like 2 games under 500. Your June and July schedules are pretty solid if you get your dudes back. Like,
Yeah.
and I understand you don't look at the schedule to kind of dictate your season. I understand that, but like I'm just saying like this. My point, I can't remember what my point was, but I just think that we're at this point where I don't know what more you have to see
Yeah.
from these guys. And I think that we kind of need to have this like upbringing, this different conversation. And look, I'm not fire David Bell. I'm not fire the hitting coach. I'm
Mm-mm.
not fire the third base coach.
Nope.
But Stuart Fairchild and Nick Martini cannot continue to get at bats like this. Like they cannot have 4 at bat days. They just
Yeah.
absolutely could not. And
Yeah.
and then Emilio Pagan, who I thought was gonna figure it out here. I didn't think he was gonna be like a home run machine. Wrong. Wrong, Tim.
Wrong.
Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Sydney says we need a jolt of a call up, and I'm trying to figure out who that is. It's not. I don't know if Blake Dunn changes everything. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't know if like it's like, oh man, he's here. Like all right, like I like him. Genuinely think he's a good player. I think Jacob Hurtabisi. I think he's been hurt, so I don't know if he's consistently playing. I'm sure someone who's like some blowhard minor leagues fanatic is probably going to be pissed at me for that, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So let's talk about Hunter Green for a second. I know we do this every
Yep.
week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say that the fact that he was within and out of a quality start on Friday
Mm-hmm.
after a long rain delay
Mm-hmm.
and battled himself. Like it was one of those games, him versus him, man.
Yep.
And he was like solid. I wouldn't say he was great, but I would definitely not say he was bad. He had more walks than I wanted him to have, but
Mm-hmm.
strikeouts were fine. He was getting people out. This is what we're talking about with him now because this stretch that he's been on now, 4 straight outings without a home run given up.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about last week with Steve when Steve surprised us. Strikeouts are down, outs are up.
Mm-hmm.
And you love to see it because I think he's going to go into the Arizona games. I haven't seen a tweet yet. If anyone's in the chat that has seen, if they've gone ahead and updated with Montas coming back, if they're going ahead and put the list out, let me know and I'll display it because right now that's listed as TBA on my stuff. But dude, like we talked about it. Like I couldn't be happier with what we saw from him last week, with what we saw from Ashcraft. I thought Ashcraft in that San Diego game was really solid. I thought Andrew Abbott was awesome yesterday.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
And I thought Lodolo was fine today. I think people look at quality starts as far as like he gave up 4 runs in this, and I know people are going to say that, but those hurdles, right? Like,
yeah. Well, and two, here's the thing: giving up 4 runs in a Major League Baseball game is still a winnable baseball game. If you're playing normal baseball, you're still with anything within Grand Slam distance. You're still within a winnable game. So 4 runs to me, I mean, albeit it's not Nick Lodolo-esque, it's still a winnable game. Like that's not something where you're like, oh, we gave up 4 runs. I'm like, it's still a winnable game to me. So even Lodolo's start wasn't terrible. Getting back to Hunter Green, I really like the fact, this is going to sound crazy. I really like the fact that he's not striking out as many people. Like my thing to me is that learning how to use your pitches is more important to me than being a strikeout artist. If you learn how to pitch and you learn how to get guys out without using the strikeout and using your pitches. Now, granted, the walks, like we talked about, the walks are higher than we wanted. But when you're able to get outs and you're not 10, 11, 12 Ks, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But to see him go from a 9, 10, 11 strikeout a guy game to 4, 5, 6 strikeouts tells me that he is learning how to pitch without being an overpowering power pitcher. He's learning how to pitch games and be consistent and get outs in other ways, which is good. Because here's the thing. When he was trying to be a power pitcher, everybody in Major League Baseball can hit the fastball, which means he was giving up more home runs at a high rate. And we had talked about that before. He had not given up a home run in his last, 3 outings, 2, 3 outings, I believe. The last 4.
I had a Powerade drink, or I was.
There we go.
Yeah.
You're good. Last 4 outings, which tells me that he is starting to learn how to pitch around guys without trying to be a power pitcher and rely on his fastball for everything. So very impressed with what he's been able to do. He's been able to get outs without using his fastball. Well, not using it more consistently, trying to be a power pitcher. So he's making the progress that you would like to see.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. I think it's like he grew a beard and just was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pitcher now.
Yep.
You know what I
It's
mean? Like,
maturity.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Like Brett Favre won that Super Bowl with the Packers, and the next year he had a full facial hair, and you're like,
Full floor, yeah.
he's like, 4 is here by my
Yep.
genes.
Yep.
So
You want some Wranglers. You
yeah.
want my Wranglers.
So Sydney, yes. I did see the tweet, Sydney. Thank you. I knew Montas was coming back for the Arizona series. I just didn't know if they announced what day yet. All right, let's talk about a couple guys real quick, offensively, and then we'll get to some more fun stuff. Hold on. Got another tweet from man. Here we go. All right. So Montas is pitching Tuesday.
Okay.
Graham Ashcroft's pitching Wednesday. Hunter Green's pitching Thursday.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you for the update, Sydney and Mark Sheldon. Much appreciated. All right,
Awesome.
buddy. We're going to talk about one of our favorite players here, and it bums me out that we're going to have this conversation. But we're going to talk about Willie Beeman, a.k.a. Will Benson. And if you're looking at his Baseball Savant page, my favorite thing in the universe, as I say each and every week, I don't think Baseball Savant can necessarily sponsor us, but if they could, I'd appreciate you.
Boys.
Yeah, how about you boys? So, and Sadak talked about this during the game today, has the highest strikeout rate in baseball right now.
Yeah.
Batting average is certainly down, on base percentage certainly down, is a barrel machine still, and when he does make contact, it certainly does damage, but the contact has not been there as much as we'd like to see it. The sprint speed's still really solid, and I understand, obviously different position, maybe leadoff hitter is not for him.
Yeah.
If that's one of the things people are going to use, I'm not trying to discredit anything at all, but at this point, I think that there's two trains of thought here, and I'm kind of curious which train of thought you take.
Yeah.
We've seen him go through these slumps before, right? It's the most famous. It's one of the more famous stories from last year. Started the year 1 for 17, goes down, and then comes back up and is awesome. Dave asked, did anyone in the first 4 of our lineup today have a batting average over 200? Ellie and Spencer Steer.
Spencer's, yeah.
Yeah. I know Spencer Steer's been slumping, but he was still there. So with him, like I said, he came back and had this tear. There's also, is this a blip in the radar? Is this something where once he kind of calms down, because he's been really good with the strike zone most of his career, he's kind of known, like, he's been really like understanding of stuff. Is he just chasing too many things? Is he pressing because they're down right now? Yep. I really like him. I believe in him. I know there's a lot of people questioning if he's actually good or not. And I still stand by, like, I want a guy like that on my team. Yeah. I think it's a blip on the radar. I think he'll be fine, but this is not great.
No. I think we have a bunch of guys in our lineup that are pressing. When you're not winning baseball games and you know that you've got a tough schedule coming up, I think a lot of our guys are in that same boat. I think they're trying to be that guy that's going to spark the lineup, right? Will Benson is one of those guys. I think Steer, Ellie, I think they're all trying to be that spark. And sometimes when you're trying to be that spark, you take swings that you normally wouldn't take. You chase balls that you normally wouldn't chase because you're trying to get things going. So I think that that's part of it. And I think that there are a lot of guys in our lineup that are doing that right now. I think I think the day off is going to be good because it lets them reset a little bit. I mean, you go from the West Coast back here to play the best team in baseball, or arguably the best team in baseball. And now you got a chance to right the ship versus Arizona. You get Frankie Montas back. Hopefully he's back to normal. And you get a quality start from him. And you're gonna get an opportunity to, right the ship, dude. I think that a lot of those guys are just pressing right now. I think that's just the nature of baseball. I think you see that with a lot of guys when you're when your whole batting lineup and you're struggling to score runs, you're struggling to get hits, you're struggling to get on base, you're losing games. I think that's just part of it, and I think a lot of those guys are really um, playing out of character. So I don't think this is Will Benson's character. I don't think this is who he is. I think that he will be better. Actually, I think all those guys will be better. I think it's just they just got to get out of their own way a little bit.
Got to put a Jobu in the clubhouse.
Yep. Yeah.
Pour him some rum.
Yep.
Light some candles.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they need. I'm with you. I think when we kind of did the thing through the offseason, we talked about all these guys and just kind of looked at Fangraph projections. He was the one that was kind of really the most projected to be like, he's going to have a slump. Like, he's going to probably be the guy that struggles. He's the most likely to struggle out of the group of all the young guys from last year. And I kind of agreed with that. I think he's going to be good. I think he's like I think this team's going to get it going. I don't know when. I hope it's not too late. When the Martes and the McLeans come back. But I really do think that he's going to be a difference maker at some point for this team. And it sounds like we're going to talk about this a little bit. But TJ Friedel could potentially be back for this Diamondback series as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably make him a little bit more comfortable too to have that guy around him in the lineup.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe it's the thing where I think we all last year were like, we need to see what he can do against left-handed pitching. We need to see what he can do at the top of the lineup. It hasn't been pretty. But I appreciate that he's like, challenge accepted, bring it, let's go.
Yeah.
And I think that he's the kind of guy that like he's going to work at it until he has it. And so
I think we talked about that too. Being the leadoff hitter is probably the most stressful. Guys that made a career out of it are incredible because it's the most stressful. No, I can't say it's the most stressful. I'll say this. You're setting the table for your whole lineup.
Yeah.
And you're going out there just going off scouting report and what this guy does to start the game and go through. You're setting the table for everybody else. So being a leadoff hitter is not easy.
No, it is not. All right, let's talk about CES because this is also not pretty. And whew, buddy, that's a lot of blue on the baseless Savant page.
Yes, it
boy.
is.
He's made some nice defensive plays of late. I'll give him that.
Made several of them last night.
Yeah. Were you at the game last night?
No, but actually Isaac was. He got 2 shirts last night.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, he got the 4th shirt, and then he got some other shirt too. So
I was trying to get one.
He was there with my sister-in-law.
I told people in the Slack chat, that if they got one, if they so happen to get a size large, I would trade them and get them a shirt off our site. Offer still stands if anyone has one that they're willing to get rid of. All right. So
there you go.
All right. So expected slugging is nice. Barrel percentage is nice. Base running run value is solid. That's it. Like you said earlier, looks lost. Just looks absolutely lost. There's the thing in baseball is always like you just need one hit to kind of get things going. And I thought that Bloop maybe was going to do it, and it didn't. So it's kind of soul crushing at times. And again, this is not for us to come on here and be like, I'm done with CES. Send him back to Louisville. Figure it out.
No.
You might not hurt him to, have a couple days in Louisville. But I think that I think that with him, maybe it's going to take a little bit longer to kind of get more comfortable. Remember, like he didn't have a ton of at-bats in the big leagues last year. He's playing every day now, where last year was kind of like one day I'm playing, one day Votto's playing, one day Spears playing. So maybe that plays a part into it as well. Maybe just scouting report, but like doesn't take pitches, doesn't know what a walk means at this point. I think he had one this week, and I was like, oh wow, that's surprising. That's an improvement. But I would genuinely say I'm not giving up on him by any stretch of the matter. I'm not like done with him because I think that's silly. But I am nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of have to be, because it's not. I would feel better if the at bats looked better. But dude, his at bats have just looked like really bad. Like we're sitting there watching last night. At the end of the game, of course, we had a chance to win, and even that at bat just didn't look. He
No.
just didn't look confident. Like he didn't look confident in the box. So, and I don't know how you fix that. I mean, right now he's at a sink or swim, right? I mean, you ain't like you're going to be at first, you're going to be in the lineup, so you better figure it out. And I think that's where they're at right now. I think they're just saying, "Hey, bro, you got to figure it out."
No pressure, my guy, but you're just now
Yeah.
filling the shoes of a future Hall of Famer.
All right.
So.
Listen, hey, you got to figure it out, my guy, because the guy that was there before was incredible. So I don't know. I think that part of that is just maturity, right? I mean, he's got to get more at bats. Man, it would be nice to have a veteran to talk to in that lineup.
What?
Yeah. I mean, but anyway,
Huh?
I digress.
Yeah.
But I just think that that's one of those things where he, the more at bats he gets, hopefully he'll get more comfortable in there. And I can't say that he's looked uncomfortable the whole season because he has had some decent at bats, but hopefully it's something that he gets corrected. And sometimes too, dude, it's a mindset, right? Like you get in there and you're like, dude, this guy has a certain ERA, or this guy throws this pitch that I've proven I can't hit, and you get into the box and you're already behind the 8 ball. So a lot of that is that with him as well, because it's not the talent level. I mean, we know he's talented enough.
Right.
A lot of it is just a mental game. It's a mental game with these guys, and being able to get into the box and know that you can make quality contact and be a professional hitter.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think that's it for the negatives. All right, guys, we're going to have some fun back on Late Night Reds like we normally do now. All right, we just had to have a venting session. We had to get it all out, like burn some sage. Like we just had to make sure like we're going to get the vibes back up if you're listening at home and not checking out the live show. So, my guy.
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on. They had 3 boxes. They only had the XL open, so my group of 6 got 6 XLs. The kids are swimming. All right, if either of you want to move on from one of those XLs, I'll happily take it. Holla at your boy and we'll make a deal.
We'll make it happen.
We've talked about this a couple times now. There's been a little bit of a conversation about this team needs a jolt. This team needs a little energy. Hi, Chad. Chad Dodson's in the house, everybody.
Hey, what's up?
Chad, if you want to come hang out with us and grieve and bitch and vent, we're here for you. Maybe that jolt is TJ Friedel.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to change the whole offense by any stretch of the matter, but there's something about just having that guy that can kind of maybe make something happen. And I think he's, obviously a fun player. Everyone enjoys having him in the clubhouse. He's a guy that brings the energy up. He's a guy that, people rally around. He can get some big hits. He's obviously an incredible fielder, robbed of a Gold Glove. That's just my opinion. So, Dave, we are for sure. Dave asked if we're going to come down for a Dragons game. Dave, we have been discussing this on text messages like 3 times a week of late. It's probably going to happen. We need to do it before Hector Rodriguez goes to Chattanooga. So, it's probably going to be like, I don't know, 2 weeks the way he's hitting. So,
we need to make it happen.
We really need to make that happen. This is big. This is fun. I saw that Treg said it could be as early as this week. It could be as early as Tuesday for the Arizona series. I know that I don't think that I'll be too concerned about. I'm not too concerned about the rehab assignment starts. I will say that he had a really nice double or 2. So TJ, I'll pick you up, man. Like just I will drive to Louisville and come get you. Like we just need you here. All right. Like we just need you here. We need you comfortable. How's the wrist? Is it feeling good? You're taking swings. Great. All right. Let's go.
Do it. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's huge, right? It's huge to get him back. He was the table setter last year. He was the guy that got things started. So to get him back in our lineup, and we talked about this before, but like you lose a guy like Friedel and you lose a guy like McLean and you lose a Marte, dude, it's eventually that catches up, right? Like you can't lose those 3 guys in your lineup and be like, okay, well, that's all right. Nick Martini will step in. You're like, really? Like, no. So I think we're starting to see a little bit of that. Getting Friedel back kind of brings us back a little bit, because he's our guy. He's our center fielder. He's our table setter. He's our leadoff batter. He gives us steals. He gives us runs. He does all those little things that can help set the table for us to be able to get back on track a little bit. So bringing him back and getting him back, hopefully healthy and staying healthy, is going to be huge for us.
Yeah, Friedel Ellie Steer sounds
Yeah, that sounds
very
like
nice.
yeah, sounds like music to my ears. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Chad's son Casey is hanging out with us. What's up, Casey? Thanks for tuning in. Chad wrote an awesome piece last year about his son and play his last year of high school baseball on his Substack. You should definitely check out.
Okay.
It's really, really good. Something I really enjoyed reading. But yeah, dude, I think that this is just it's step one, right?
Mhm.
Now step 2 and 3 don't sound like they're exactly going super close yet. I think Noelvi Marte, if I saw correctly, was taking swings in Arizona recently. There were some clips of
Okay.
that. And that was kind of this first domino of all this, right? Like that
Yeah.
was when you're like, oh, this isn't going very well. Um,
Mhm.
so, but getting Friedel back, getting guys back to where they're more comfortable. I don't think Benson was necessarily a bad fielding center fielder. The arm obviously was the thing that we were like, eh. So getting him to
Mhm.
back where he could do more right field, Fraley in a situation where he can DH more, I think is step one. And let's do a Fairchild at bats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think this is step one, and this is a nice thing to do. And like God, they need everything they can get right now, obviously.
Yep.
So
No,
um,
absolutely.
yeah. So I did want to do this conversation here. I didn't really have a prospect. I didn't have a chance to really like do some highlights from prospects, so we discuss
Mhm.
as we did the last couple weeks.
Mhm.
But the two guys that are considered right now 1 and 2 in this upcoming draft, where the Reds have the number 2 pick, are
Mhm.
crushing baseballs
Yeah.
with a lot of power and a lot of excitement. Um, this is so I wanted to kind of talk about these guys and kind of see where things are, because obviously Cleveland has number 1 pick. So if things go the way they're supposed to, one of these two guys are going to drop in their laps. I've
Yeah.
heard some rumblings that Cleveland may go another route to save a little money. So both of these guys could potentially be an option for the Reds, and that is Charlie Condon of the Georgia Bulldogs and Travis Bazzana of Oregon State. If you look at these two dudes, and they are just hitters, man. They are for
Mhm.
sure dudes. I mean, Condon 32 homers, 66 RBI, 40 base on balls. That was going into today. He hit one today too. I didn't see what Bazzana did
Yeah.
today. Bazzana, 942 OPS. I mean, 21 homers, 51 RBI, 55 walks, and I like those 11 stolen bases.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I have a preference, because this early in the draft, you're supposed to get the stud, the Hunter
Yeah.
Green, the Nick Senzel, the Nick Lodolo. I know one of those teams was not like the other. Just roll with me.
Just
Um,
roll with me.
but between these two, I'm stoked either way. But I think Charlie Condon, he's wearing those red and black colors now. If he wants to just kind of keep wearing those for his professional
Yeah.
career, I'm not sad about it. I think he would look awfully good in a Reds uniform.
No, dude, I think that he would look great. Um, Looking at those numbers, I can't say that I haven't caught a whole lot of college baseball, but dude, if you're hitting the ball that well, and the SEC,
Yeah.
you're doing all right. So to get that guy in our lineup would be, or in the draft would be pretty cool. Um, Dude, that's a freaking just 33 home runs, dude, and the SEC is insane.
Yeah. I
That's
know.
wild.
I know, dude. They have
Almost
what,
batting
like,
500 too. Jeez, oh, please. Like that's just freaking that's bananas.
and I know that, well, actually, it would be Bazzana. Huh? Huh? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. You see. Yeah. And I guess this is the last year of Pac-12 baseball too. So whatever, next year when the Oregon State's in the Big Ten or wherever the hell they're going, I don't know anymore. It's hard to keep up
Yeah, it
with.
doesn't. I was gonna say.
Oh, look at this. Bob Bazzana had 3 hits today.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so regardless, the Reds are getting a stud at 2.
Yes.
And that's coming off of Cam Collier a couple years ago, stud. So I am really excited to see what happens here. Nick Kroll is going to draft Nick Kurtz for obvious reasons. I don't know, man. I think Nick Kurtz might look really good in a Guardians jersey. I think like it just suits him. Yeah. Oh. Bazana hit 3 home runs today.
Oh my gosh, did he really?
Okay. Bob, that's different than 3 hits, my guy.
Whoa.
Oh my God. They're going to the
Going
Mountain
up.
West. What is the Mountain West is a thing still? Like of all conferences that survived, that one did?
Hold on, they're going to the Mountain West.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Who's even in that anymore? I should know this considering I'm a college basketball writer, but it's just.
Isn't BYU in the Mountain West?
Are they? I thought they were independent.
No, I think it's like BYU, Utah.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that group, you know.
Okay. Well, Travis Bazana won't be on the team, so it won't matter.
It won't matter.
Yeah.
It won't matter.
He'll be getting a very nice signing bonus. All BYU's in the Big 12 because of course they are. I forgot about that.
Oh, everybody's in the Big 12. I should have known that.
Shout out.
Gosh dang.
Shout out Mark Pope. Pat says, draft someone and call them up immediately so my eyes stop hurting watching Fartini bat again and again. Wasn't the Angels like they drafted the guy last year in June? He was on the big league club in like late July.
Was that them?
I think so. It's like Brandon Finnegan. I don't know if you remember when the Royals drafted him. He pitched in the College Baseball World Series and the World Series within the same year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they got traded to the Reds and something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to this series coming up. We obviously got the Diamondbacks coming to town. So obviously now, after Sydney's gave us the update, the TBAs have been filled in. So Frankie Montas will go Tuesday against Zach Gallen. Wednesday will be Graham Ashcraft against Jordan Montgomery. And then Hunter Green on Thursday against Slade Sassoni, who was a compensation first-round overall pick, by the way, for all you draft geeks out there. Obviously, Arizona's a good team. I mean, that's step one, right? But also, they have had some flaws. I mean, Corbin Carroll has not become Corbin Carroll just yet. Please hold off for another couple weeks because
I was going to say give us a couple weeks.
Yeah. Looking at their lineup today, so Ketel Marte has been really good. Yeah. Pat says Gallen's going to shove against the Reds. Very possible. Gino has not gotten going yet. I'd be very content if the Reds won 4-1 and Gino hit a solo shot. Dude, all right. This is a Reds team here. We got a Washington National situation here, Benny.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Oh yeah. All right. Listen to this. This was so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Gino hit 6 today.
Okay.
Corbin Carroll was 7, so he's like sandwiched between Kevin Newman.
Oh wow.
And Tucker Barnhart.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know Tucker went there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think he signed like a minor league deal stuff, but they've been like going through hell and back there as well. All 3 of those guys, Gino's got a 616 OPS, Kevin Newman a 528, and Tucker Barnhart a 587. So hopefully
haven't quite got it going yet.
Nope, not quite yet. But I'm always gonna love Gino. Anytime he's hanging out and he comes to town, I'm gonna say what's up and just want to give him a big hug and say like I miss you. And right now you'd be really, really nice on this team right now. Be good to have you. If you're not too busy, talk to your agent, maybe.
See if we can make something happen.
Yeah. Just don't play shortstop. We don't need you to. Actually, we don't need you to do it anymore. All right, cool. So
no, sure don't.
No. Yeah, they won 11-4 today against the Padres, but they are also 15-20. They've struggled quite a bit. And so Zach Gallen, you kind of just get through that game and maybe I'm not saying throw the game, but like what Zach Gallen can do. Yeah. And do your best in that game and maybe take Wednesday and Thursday at worst, sweep at best. Is that what we're feeling today? We're all feeling we're gonna Roomba.
Let's do it, baby. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
So that would be pretty awesome. Sydney says former Red Matt Bowman was there too. All right, we're not playing Immaculate Grid, guys. All right, like calm it down. Calm down. So yeah, and then they go to after the Arizona series, they start another West Coast swing where they go play the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers. So,
dude, it's brutal.
Yeah. We're actually going to have here at Blue Wire. Obviously, we have a really, really awesome Dodgers show. So we're going to be joined next week by Jeff Spiegel of Dodger Blue. He's going to be coming up and hang out with us and talk about the Dodgers. No, I'm actually going to go on Dodger Blue and preview the Reds. So we did a little home and home with our Blue Wire fam. I'm very excited about. So Jeff's going to give us some fun insight about how cool it is to cover Mookie Betts every day.
Oh my gosh.
How awesome that is. And I can be like, yeah, that's great. But have you heard of Ellie De La Cruz?
Exactly.
Yeah, the Matt Bowman experience saw them at Warped Tour in 2008. Scott, we're like at the end of the show now, and you're now popping in. So, all right, guys, we're like 13 minutes under time. Does anyone have questions they want to send us? Yes, Sydney, we know about Shohei. He goes without being said because, I don't know, someone's going to steal money from his bank account, right? So
you can bet on that.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. Hey, all right. So we have about 12 minutes to spare. So if we don't have any questions, so let's go ahead and go around the division real quick because as bad as things were this week, guys, the Reds got beat by the Orioles. Okay, like you can live with getting beat by the Orioles. They didn't get beat by the White Sox. You know who did, though? The St. Louis Cardinals got beat by the White Sox in St. Louis at Busch Stadium.
Gosh. That's brutal.
They lost 5-1 today. Yesterday. Did you see this whole thing yesterday in their game?
So no, I did not.
They go to extras, and they get down to the last strike of the game, and they go to rain delay.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so they brought them back out to throw one pitch.
The one pitch. Wow. That is incredible.
Yeah, dude. It was awesome. You know, couldn't happen to a nicer group of guys. And then, yeah, on Friday, they, let's see what they do on Friday. Okay, Friday they did win 3-0. But, you know, like, I think we're all kind of just feeling great, right?
Yeah. I mean, think about this. I mean, we've lost 5 in a row, and we are still only 4.5 back in the division, and we're still third. So, I mean, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. Let's everybody take a collective deep breath, sigh, and get this thing figured out. So, I do have a question for you, Tim.
Oh boy, Ben's got questions.
So I got a question. So, we talk about the guys in our farm system and the things, you know, all these prospects and things like that. Well, we did talk about TJ Friedel coming back this week, hopefully. Is there anybody else? And I know that you may have mentioned, but if you're thinking long term, is there anybody else that you'd be like, man, this guy needs to be up here like yesterday?
All right, so I will front this by,
I'll say this: I'm not talking about like we just desperately need this guy. Like I'm just saying,
I don't know. We might desperately need this guy right now. Like,
but is there somebody there where you're like, man, like, and if we're looking up here in June and we're like, dude, we're still treading water. Is there somebody that we could bring up and be like, yeah, this is it?
I don't know, man. Just because their problems that we've seen this last week have just been so hard, right? Like it's just a lot. Connor Capel came up earlier in the chat. I know he's a guy who's had a pretty good run in Louisville so far. I would absolutely love to see Reese Hines get a chance. I'm still really high on him. I know, but like I said, we talked about earlier, the Blake Duns, who was just a minor league player of the year in the system. He'd be fine.
But I'm like, we're like, I guess my thing is that like I don't want to say wasting, but like Nick Martini, Stuart Fairchild, like these guys are taking at bats. Like, is there somebody like we could have that could be that guy that could come in from there? You know, like a Reese Hines, like someone like that that can get quality at bats now that we know we're going to need in the future.
You're saying they're in the minors.
Yes.
You didn't specify what organization.
Nope.
Okay, because there's a guy that's supposed to be in AAA that's recovering right now for in the Toronto system. He had a home run in spring training. I feel like he could really give some nice at bats for them. So I don't know. Maybe you call them and just throw them a couple bucks.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Since they got him for like a pork sandwich.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I think he could be really helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if you say his name the wrong side of the Reds faithful gets a little mad at you. But
they do. It gets volatile.
Yeah. Volatile.
Volatile. Hey.
We're on a slump right now. We need to be entertaining.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Yeah.
How do you like if you're David Bell, how do you go about this? How do you attack this skid? Like, how do you attack this slump with a skid? Like, like I said, David Bell can't go up there and take it back. So I'm not sitting up there saying it's his fault, this, that, and that. But how do you attack a slump?
It's so funny you bring this up because I remember I had this conversation with Mo a couple years ago, and it's something that just always stuck with me that I always laughed at. Where the conversation forever was like the easiest place to spend money is the bullpen, and it just never would, right? Like, look, we could literally have a field day right now just naming random ass Reds bullpen pitchers that we've seen over the years. Then we could be like, oh yeah, they did have that guy. He was terrible. We had this guy. He was terrible. Like Mo has said, like if he were David Bell, every time he went out and took a guy off the mound, he would just look up at like the owner's box and just be like and I just always thought that was so funny. It's like now, like they go and got guys to like be in the bullpen, right? And I know Brent Suter was not good today. I'm not, but like 99% of the time, I trust him. And Buck Farmer is like is far later now in where he's like called upon, thank God, than where he was in the years past. But now, yeah, you're right. It's like now you're at the situation where it's like when you're him, it's like, who did you guys give me to throw out there? I'm freaking batting Stuart Fairchild third on a major league game. Yeah. It's like, it's unbelievable because it's like, I know everyone talks about Mike Ford. Scott brought him up and I was all for giving him a shot. It's just, I didn't think he was the answer. I just didn't think he would be worse than what they currently had. And I don't know. He's not Jack Parkman. There's another major league reference for you guys. So
Jack Parkman, there you go, baby.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just like, yeah. Would I rather see Reese Hines getting at bats right now than Jeimer Candelario? Sure. Would I much rather see him getting more at bats than Stuart Fairchild and Dick Martini? Yes. I would rather see freaking Hector Rodriguez getting at bats at the big league level than Nick Martini right now.
Yeah.
Look at Mr. Allen's going in on all these guys. The Jeremy Affelts, John Kulangas. God, I forgot about him. Ross Detweiler. I forgot about Ross
Mr.
Detweiler
Juan. I love it.
Jeremy Affelt was a pitcher for the Reds. That was the thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mike Lincoln, my dude.
There you go.
Nick Mass hits.
Oh my gosh. Dude, it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
I'll never forget.
What's the jeez, that's terrible.
I'll never forget Nick Massett. It was 2010. They're playing the Braves. They're in Atlanta. And they're up like 9-1 in the ninth inning. They lose 10-9.
I do remember that.
Massett gets like smoked. He didn't give up all 9 runs, but he was like atrocious.
But he started it.
And whoever was for the Braves hit the game-winning home run. It bounced off Lance Nix's glove.
It
was like
incredible.
Yeah. So that's one. Seth says, "Don't do it, Tim." That'll be one of his. That could be one of your baseball reference rabbit hole shorts that you posted on the riverfront. That was great. I love that. Yeah, another Ricky Karcher roller coaster. I love it. AJ Morris in 2016. Oh my god. Um, I think the moral of the story is that the Reds have not necessarily been up for making sure that their bullpen was significantly better for quite a while there.
Yeah.
um, whew, all right.
But-
Did I even answer your question? I don't even know.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you did in a roundabout way.
Yeah. Typical Tim fashion. Get my word count up like I'm Barry Larkin.
No, you're good. What's that? I do wonder though, like if there is a move out there, knowing that you're probably not going to get Matt McClain back. I do wonder if there's a move out there that you could make to bring somebody in, like, and I'm not saying like, I mean, I'm just talking about like a trade or something. I don't know. I'm really not sure, but is there somebody out there or some kind of move that's sitting behind the back panels of Reds management, and they're like, dude, if it gets to this, we can make this move here. I do wonder that sometimes because I think that every baseball GM has that one thing in their pocket where they can make something happen and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. I would assume.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like this thing or not where it's like teams don't know if they're allowed to make deals before the deadline.
Right.
So like San Diego made that deal this week for Luis Arias.
Right.
And baseball was just like,
what are you doing? It's not the trade deadline yet.
yeah, sir, it's the 5th week of the season.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see what their freaking GM said?
I did not.
Oh my god. He was like, in a roundabout way, he goes like, well, we're not gonna be very good this year. Like they were just in the playoffs last year.
You're right.
Their manager was like named manager of the year. They have a superstar.
Wow. They do have a superstar.
And I understand Alcantara got hurt and all this stuff, but like, I don't know. Is that worse than, well, where are you going to go?
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Maybe.
Chat, you guys are hanging out. You like to chime in our fun conversations and just give us things to kill for the next minute and a half. Which one's worse? Well, we're not going to be very good this year, or well, where are you going to go? Which one would you just be more pissed off by? I don't know. Maybe one of these Arizona guys can just stay in Cincinnati. Could tell Marte, you just want to hang out. We'll flip you for somewhere
hang out
when everyone comes back. I don't know. Can we do like your team's like terrible, and we'll take Ketel Marte, and you guys can take Jeimer Candelario on the plane back with you. I think that's fair. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I guess the answer is, well, where are you gonna go? All right. Cool. I agree, guys.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll never forget hearing that and going like, wait, what happened? Because I was not listening to the radio live at that time.
Yeah.
And then Brandon Sejo has the interview with him. He's like, I just want to kind of get your thoughts on what you said earlier. Instead of him being like backing down. Nope.
Right. Nope.
It's like,
nope.
Oh, man.
Not at all.
Not at all. All right, dude. Well, hey, I think we can go and wrap this week's episode up. I really hope next week is a lot more fun. And we're talking
Let's hope.
Yeah. We're talking about a couple wins against Arizona. They want to go get a win or two against San Francisco, too. That would be even better on top of the Arizona wins. So I still think, look, we're going to say this. Woosah.
Yep. Deep breaths.
What Kendrick Lamar say? We're going to be all right. Actually, I don't know what he's been saying lately. Maybe not. But
hey, bro, I gotta say he's been on fire lately.
Yeah.
I'm not going. Listen, I'm not going to say his name. Listen, I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to get on the list.
Yeah. But I will reference this fantastic. We're gonna be all right, and that's what I'm gonna roll with. Scott Ruggiero says, "What do you think about Alex Bregman? If the Astros want to give up Alex Bregman, bring him on over. I'm all for it.
Absolutely. Jeez,
worst case, he's DHing when Matt McClain comes back. So, All right, dudes, we're gonna wrap this week's edition up of Late Night Reds, part of Riverfront, part of Blue Wire. As always, if you're not subscribed to us, do so. Please do so. It takes 5 seconds, helps the channel out a ton. Like this video. Check out our podcast on whatever app you're using. Go to patreon.com/RiverfrontCincy. Hey, July 6th, 12 to 2. If you're in town, come party with us. Bourbon, smoked chicken wings, incredible
Mm,
brisket, maybe
mm.
some special guests. I'm working some details out. But we're gonna put on a great party for our Riverfront fan base and our family. For those of you who can be in town, Sydney just has to be in Greece, and like
Oh wow.
not like Greece is the word as you heard. It's got groove, it's got meaning. Like actually like Greece. So, um, but yeah. So on behalf of Ben Brown, this is Tim Daniel. Make sure you check out everything going on at the Riverfront because we are balling right now. And I mean,
Absolutely.
what other live show do you want to hang out and listen to talk about the Reds and us? Have a good one, everybody.